what they feel. Jesus, you say, I be a picking, no. Jesus, you say, your love will cover me. Every time I look around, now you are they see. Every time I look around, now you are they feel, oh. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, yeah. You know me, you know my name. Papa, you know my name, oh. Abba Father, hey. You know me, you know my name. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yeah, yeah. Yelele, yelele, yelele.
Thank you very much, Reverend Sama, for that reminder. Abba Father, you know my name. Greetings to the people of Ambazonia. It's exactly 3 minutes after the hour of 5 p.m. in Ambazonia, and we are in here for our Amba history. And I would like you to quickly invite your friends, invite your neighbors, send the message to so many other people. We are continuing with the subject matter that we had before we went on recession, not really recession, but before we went on our twin celebration of the 30th of September 2023, which was styled the United Nations Southern Cameroon's Day, a day of chagrin, a day of sorrow that the United Nations handed over the emblems of our sovereignty to La République du Cameroon in an unofficial way, and by so doing, instituting a dilemma which we are suffering up till today. So we don't know what transpired with La République du Cameroon and Britain, or with France and Britain, that they handed over the instruments of our existence to the people of La République, that has brought us untold pain and suffering till today. But in whatever case, if it was done unknowingly or knowingly, we want to let the world know that what La République is building on is falsehood. And to build on the falsehood of which we in the Amba land are coming to increasingly know that the world has resorted to lies telling and to live in that deception. In whatever case, we know there is a God over there in the heavens, and he is interested in the people of Ambazonia. And because of that, we are continuously telling the story that Ambazonia, Southern Cameroons, was not a part of La République du Cameroon, and we will continue to sing it and repeat it until it reaches the corners that it has not reached before. And even if it has reached you, please, there is something you will still benefit, and there's something you will still gain from what we are looking into and what we are talking about. And I think that your participation and sending out this link to one another was going to go a long way to help a number of people to understand what we are talking about, where we are coming from, and what we intend the world to do. Our intention is actually that the people who are sitting out there should be able to understand this brief history of the two nations. Yes, the tale of two nations is an article, I'm sure, written by a well-meaning Ambazonian to educate the Ambazonian people and make the Ambazonian people to know that the fight they are fighting is not an ordinary fight. It is a fight that has root causes and is deepened in the history and reality of what happened to the people of Ambazonia over several years ago. And so I invite you and implore you to join me in this subject matter today. Let's look into it and let's see what we're actually supposed to see and what we're supposed to know. Well, with that, I want to just step up and go into the reading of the article, because the article was actually written down and posted, and I'm here just to read it because it's actually the subject matter of what I am doing here. And so, with that introduction to the Ambazonian people, I want us to relax, listen and listen attentively, and where you have some concerns, please don't hesitate to let me know. I will put in the correction of what is supposed to be in the program that we are looking at. So last time, I think I ended on Article 8, and today I want to continue, and I'll read to you number 9 of that article, which says distinction of two states by UN Resolution 1608 at paragraph 15 or chapter 15 at the United Nations General Assembly of April in 1961. This resolution had 3 main items. A, halt of trusteeship relationship with Britain. B, give Southern Cameroon's independence on a given date that was selected to be 1st of October 1961. Yes, by joining maybe, but it gave independence nonetheless. C, clarify the type of treaty and the form of the union between the Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroon, treaty and form of union, a United Federal Republic of Cameroons, the plural for the two Cameroons, La République du Cameroon and the Southern Cameroons. The debate on Resolution 1608, paragraph 15, at the United Nations General Assembly on the 21st of April 1961. The draft resolution was proposed by India, Iya Jalpal, and Krishna Menon, Chairman, 14th United Nations General Assembly, Lambatan Dina, Indonesia, Chairman of the Southern Cameroons, item 13 and 41. Adna Pachesh, Iraq, Vice Chair, Miss Sylvia Shilton, Vilarian, Cuban. Jabal Abdul, Iran, plebiscitator, sitting with consultative status, conducted the session. Resolution 1608, drafted by the team of M. Stavropoulos, was accepted by acclamation and put to vote in 3 stages with the following results: termination of the trusteeship agreement for Southern Cameroons, 50 yes votes to 6 no votes to 12 abstentions. Give them independence on a given date, 50 yes votes, 6 no votes, and 12 abstentions. 3. The type of treaty and the form of the union between Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroon. Treaty and form of union: a United Federal Republic of Cameroons. The plural for 2 Cameroons, La République du Cameroon and Southern Cameroons. 50 yes votes, 12 no votes, and 6 abstentions. United Nations Resolution 1608 of April 21, 1961 gave independence to the Southern British Cameroon by vote as follows: 64 votes for the independence, 23 votes against, and 10 abstained. Interestingly, France and La République du Cameroon voted against the Southern British Cameroon joining La République du Cameroon. To Anglophones, our Francophone brothers did not want us. That is, if you go into this resolution, you will see it there, and the people who voted and the people who did not vote. Northern British Cameroons was not given the same option of independence as Southern Cameroons by the United Nations, though both cases were treated on the same day in the same United Nations resolution. The United Nations Resolution 1608, paragraph 15, on the joining of the 2 Cameroons underlined a self-governing system for Southern Cameroons with the preservation of their sociocultural, educational, legal, and other heritage. 2. 2 equal peoples with their individual constitutions. It required the 2 Cameroons to meet, dialogue, and determine the terms by which they will live together and sign a treaty of union ratified by their individual parliaments, which would be registered at the United Nations to serve as a marriage certificate and guidance in the case of problems. 10. The Foumban Conference, how it took place. Care of F C F La du Péry du Foumban. Having just been elected president by the members of the Assemblée the Legislative du Cameroun, ALCAM, in May 1960, after the missed election of 10th April 1960, and lacking the legitimacy of a universal suffrage, leaned on the French to reinforce his position and play international politics with Southern Cameroons. The Foumban Conference of 17th to the 21st of July 1961 was convened to draw up a charter for the ensuing 2 states federation. But the proposals brought by Southern Cameroons were rejected. as the United Nations and Britain, who were expected to do arbitrate, were expected to arbitrate, that's to be like a referee, and ensure impartiality and fairness, were absent, and France was unexpectedly present. So why did Britain go away and France was present? It could not have worked, and it did not work. Southern Cameroon's politicians insisted on this concerning the coming together. They insisted on these things. What are the things? A, they mentioned indivisible was not to be included in the constitution of the country. B, the federation was not to be changed to another form of government. C, the natural resources of Southern Cameroons were to be exploited by them within the federation, not by France or any other. D, the France La République Cooperation Accords was not to influence Southern Cameroons. Point number 11, violation of the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 1608 and the Federal Constitution of the Cameroons, creating a state of illegality of the federal government of Cameroon. Article 1, paragraph 1. The name of the country was not Cameroons, plural, in violation of United Nations General Assembly Resolution 1608. Article 9, paragraph 9, Article 1, paragraph 9 of the Federal Constitution offered Southern Cameroonians the right to Cameroonian citizenship if and only if Southern Cameroons became a federated state with La République du Cameroun. C, Article 5, paragraph 16, the borders between the federated states maintained, that's they still remained. D, Article 9, paragraph 1, the president and vice shall not be from the same federated state. If one is from east, the other should be from west, and thus first and second personality is from each state. E, Article 9, paragraph 3, president and vice president cannot hold any other post. F, Article 10, paragraph 3, the vice president takes over when there is a presidential vacancy. G, Article 38, page 1, each federated state had its constitution and run their judiciary. H, Article 47, paragraph 1, stated inter alia that no bill to harm the Constitution may be introduced if it tends to impair the unity and integrity of the federation. Thus, federation was a permanent state. Article 50, Article 50, the French text of the Constitution is the only authoritative version. Point number 12, first coup d'etat, absence of a legally binding treaty of union between the Cameroons at the United Nations. At the end of the Foumban conference, the Southern Cameroons delegation was not satisfied with the proceedings, and when the two Southern Cameroons houses of assembly did not ratify the Foumban Accords, they expected that there would be a return to the negotiation table. Unfortunately, the British consul, without having participated at the conference in Foumban, nor having received any confirmation from the Southern Cameroon's houses of assembly, went ahead to write to Ahidjo and hand over authority over Southern Cameroons to him. The latter then cited the Foumban Accords in the United Nations as interparliamentary union treaty between the states. This type of treaty emphasizes the fact that the two parties to the treaty were mutually sovereign states, each with a functional parliament and government. Thus, for the document to be legal, it had to have been ratified by the two parliaments, which was not the case. The Federal Constitution of 1st September 1961 was signed by the President of La République du Cameroon, Amadou Ahidjo, but not by the Prime Minister of Southern Cameroons, Jongo Foncha, thereby invalidating it from serving as a treaty of union between the two nations. Given that the Southern Cameroon's parliament did not ratify the Foumban Accords nor the federal constitution, giving La République du Cameroon access to their nation as a federal structure to supervise them, the handing over of power to Ahidjo by the British commissioner in was illegal and equivalent to the first coup d'etat Southern Cameroons, upon joining La République du Cameroon in 1961, became known as West Cameroon, with Foncha as its prime minister and also exceptionally vice president of Cameroon. Ahidjo issued a proclamation in October 1961 placing West Cameroon under a 6-month state of emergency, renewable and infinitum, requiring West Cameroons to get a laissez-passer from the military to travel into East Cameroon and carry an identity card. A military tribunal was installed in Boya in December 1961 to try and prosecute West Cameroon civilians. Jesus. In 1962, Ahidjo ordered the change of currency of West Cameroon from the pound sterling to the franc CFA. Can you imagine that? From 1962 to 1965, 11 February was considered by East Cameroon as Jour du Dieu, the day of God, as they mourn the loss of northern British Cameroon to Nigeria. Can you imagine? This is history that many people don't know. Some of these things I'm reading here, I didn't know them. The day of God, 1962 to 1965, 11 February was considered the day of God, mourning for the loss of northern British Cameroon to Nigeria. Wow. On the 12th of May, 1965, Augustin Damjoa, elected PM of West Cameroon, forms coalition with opposition and signs declaration to safeguard institutions of West Cameroon within the federation. In 1966, Ahidjo unconstitutionally decrees a one-party system and creates CNU, illegally intervening in the legislation of West Cameroon's Article 38, paragraph 1, and issuing law on press censorship, curbing freedom of speech. Ahidjo issued a law proscribing meetings and associations and outlawed civil society organizations and other political parties. Civil liberties were finally stamped out of existence in the nation, leading to unrest. You can imagine. No wonder he died, and even those that he tried to, they abandoned him in the desert. Such wickedness is not supposed to be amongst the people. France used him and dumped him. And so La Republic used him and dumped him. Anybody that is under this terrible regime, France will pass through, use you, and of course, dump you like a hijo. All right, let's continue. Number 13, point number 13, Southern Cameroon's or West Cameroon's economic situation and advances. From 1953 to 1972, Southern Cameroon's and later West Cameroon was a very prosperous economy with over 50 employing entities by 1967. These institutions employed tens of thousands of West Cameroonians upon graduation. The road infrastructure was in constant expansion and very well maintained. West Cameroon had the richest banks in the Cameroon's federation. It had the only airline company in the country, Cameroon Air Transport, which was the fastest growing in West Africa, an international airport in Tico, and 3 other domestic airports, the Bisonabang Airport, the Bali Airport, and the Way Airstrip. West Cameroon had a hydroelectricity power dam and plant, Powercam, a fleet of heavy road maintenance machinery in its Public Works Department, PWD, 4 seaports, the Victoria Deep Sea Port and Dockyard, the Tico Seaport, WAF, the Indian Seaport, and the Mamfe Island Inland Port on the Cross River. Well-structured government, corporations, government and private banks, sea transport companies, cooperative societies, development corporations, chains of hospitals, chains of shops, chains of schools, and private companies existed in a perfectly democratic and progressive economic situation. West Cameroon, Southern Cameroons, produced export products, which included banana, timber, cocoa, coffee, gas, rubber, palms, oil, etc. Some companies, banks, and corporations that existed in Southern Cameroon, West Cameroon at that time were, let me name them to you. Listen very attentively. To some of you who sit out there and run your mouth and you don't even understand what is going on, I want you to listen and to listen to this very attentively, because I'm telling you that some of you who are sitting out there making noise, if you had opportunity to hear and to know what is going on and what was going on at that time, I am telling you, you will fight not only with your mouth, you will want to fight physically. Let me read to you some of the companies that existed in between 1953 and 1972, when everything was crumbled, because they started taking away this thing little by little, until at the end of the day, everything was cutted away. And when they saw that we were left without strength, they now started their imperialistic actions on us, that nobody could advance. And you know, when people are not financially, economically capable, they are altogether doomed. It doesn't matter how much knowledgeable you will be, but you cannot go any further. These are some of the companies and institutions that existed at that time. Number 1, Amba Trade Center. Some of you have never heard about that. Some of you have heard of Cameroon Bank. Barclays banks were existing. Chartered Standard Standard Chartered Banks, Fonade Bank, National Produce Marketing Board, RW Kings Incorporated, Kilos and Bros Co. and Co. Limited, Britain Company Limited, Six Rainbow Chemist Incorporated, Nanga Company, Che Company, Fomeki Company, Menyoli Company, United African Company, Alliance Company, John Holt Limited Company, Niba Auto Company, Akintola Williams Company, Amen Textile Company, Confidence Co. They were dealing with bikes, bike dealers, selling motorbikes and bicycles and so on. Cadbury and Fry, Obudu Ranch, Obang Farm Settlement, West Cameroon Timber Industries, Dub Rice Corporation, what we call UNVDA, West Cameroon Coffee Cooperatives, Mountain Hotel in Boya, Confidence Hotel, West Cameroon Hotels Limited, Seaports Victoria, Tico, Dian, Mamfe, Cam Air Transport, 3 aircrafts at that time, 4 airports, Tico International Airport, West Cameroon Armory, West Cameroon Armory. There are 4 airports, Tico, Biswabang, Ware, and Bali. Airports at that time, West Cameroon Armory, Public Works Department, PWD, West Cameroon State Lottery, Powercam Hydro Plant in your care, Sokapau, Wada, Medinon, Unilever, UN Lever, I don't know what that is, Globus, UCTC Limited. I think I remember this name when I was still very little, in the early 60s. CCC, I don't know whether it is that college or was another thing. Cam Trading, Cam Timber Cooperative, Camdave, CAMDEV, Camdave, Econa Research Center, West Cameroon Police Force. All of these places, 3/4 of them have been vandalized, and they are only remaining as a shadow. The Econa Center, that was a real center, we now have charlatans, and some of these zombies from La Republic of Cameroon have taken over the whole place and destroyed it. West Cameroon Police Force, Mobile Wing, Higher Institute of Amba, CDC chain of schools, CDC chain of hospitals, CDC chain of shops, CDC printing press, Santa Coffee Estate, Duty Estate, Toilette Estate, Pamol, Cameroon Development Cooperation Plantations, etc., etc. All these things from 1953 to 1972 were all devastated, destroyed, and brought to zero. None of the names are actually existing now. Not up to 1/50 of these names is still very prominent. And even if it is in the hands of the French regime, who are destroyers, who are meant for people not to go anywhere. We are told in this article that before our children leave school at that time, Southern Cameroons, and later, as La Republic called it, West Cameroon, was very prosperous economically, with over 50 employing entities. In 1967, they had over 50 employing entities. That means if you finish from school with a first school living, especially if you have advanced level, you were immediately recruited to work in one of these corporations that was growing at that time. Let's go to number 14. Number 14. Southern West Cameroon government gains from 1954 to 1972. Let me show you and tell you the gains that this particular government made. And then I may stop there, and then we come back for a continuation, possibly next week. God giving us the opportunity, we may continue this week. But before we get into that, let me just give you this break of this musical pause, and then we will get right back to what we are talking about. Listen to this.
And you know my name. I give you glory. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. You know my name, oh Daddy. I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. I'm a father, you know my name. Papa, you know me.
Yes, Father, thank you because you know the name of Ambazonia. And because you know the name of Ambazonia, we know very well that you do hear our cry and you attend to our plea. All right, let me show you. I was talking to you. Southern Cameroon's governance gains, what they gained as they were self-governing before the destroyer and the oppressor and the destructor came in the name of La République du Cameroon through France, handed over to it by Amadou Ahidjo. Sorry, by Britain, handing over to Ahidjo, who was the stooge of France, brainwashed as a standard 3 teacher who did not have the future because the white imperialists did not allow them to see the future and made them to be so short-sighted and brought us into where we are. We are told by this history that Ambazonia was the fastest growing economy in the whole of West Africa. And I cannot doubt that because over the years, Gabon, Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, and some of those countries that are surrounding the peripherals, food has been coming from Santa, from Mbok, and other places to feed these countries. But let's go. The West Cameroon Federated Government continued the Southern Cameroon's governing system and thus offered, promoted, and wholeheartedly sustained 1. Health center infrastructure, which was strategically deployed all across the federated state. 2. Free child health care through free antenatal, maternity, and postnatal medical services for women and free medical consultation for all children. This is what was obtained between that 1954 before we were plundered in 1972. And people are wondering. And I've heard some people, especially those who say they are preachers of the gospel, having a dream that this shall come back. No, sir. High quality primary to higher institutions of learning of in collaboration with the various missions. A free primary education for all through the payment of the salaries of all trained and certified teachers, even those in the service of private and missions educational agencies. A fair and independent judiciary where none was above the law, from law enforcement officers, wealthy businessmen, political figures, to the common citizens. Everyone was equal before the law. Listen, this was between 1957 and 1972, when this criminal regime was still playing their erosion, eating us up little by little, little by little. We didn't know, but they were eating. Number 6, fair and regulated customary courts in villages, which were run by chiefs and their local councils and respected their assigned jurisdictions, thus functioning in harmony with state courts. Oh my God. Law enforcement institutions that strictly respect the rights of the people. A mobile wing police force that was efficient, crime battling, citizen friendly, incorruptible, law enforcing, British trained, and duly armed. That is what I saw the mobile wing. I saw the mobile wing, and it was wonderful. I think one of my parents who eventually went into the Cameroon police force, and before he died, he tasted of the corruption of La Republic of Cameroon, was a member or was in the mobile wing. And because corruption is contagious, he was contaminated. I know so. Because I saw him when he was dying. And before La Republic contaminates you, it introduces you into booze. And he was drinking to hell. La Republic discovered that the people of the British Southern Cameroons were sane. And so their brains were intact and they were thinking. They decided to make them useless by bringing beer and offer to them. I was so shocked that while people are crying, I heard, I've not still recovered from that people who are refugees were demanding for beer to celebrate. Well, you don't have food to eat. Beer, a poison that La Republic decided to poison all of Southern Cameroons. You are in pain, you are in exile, and you are still going after beer. That curse is too much. Yes. That imprisonment is too much. That slavery is too much. All right. Number 9, an independent West Cameroon House of Chiefs and a West Cameroon House of Assembly, which debated, agreed, or disagreed on bills and made laws in favor of a proposed prosperous life for the people and the development of the federated state, and not in favor of any political parties or interests. That is what we had. And that's why the Ethics Commission right now in the interim government is doing everything to put up such a structure. Number 10, a completely independent electoral commission which ensure free, fair, and unhampered elections and guaranteed true alternation of power from the one elected prime minister government to another. That's what we had. And that's why Gumjoa could take over from Foncha. And that's why Foncha could take over from Endele. Have you ever had that in La Republic of Cameroon? No. That corrupt nation has entered now and has corrupted a lot of Ambazonians that we cannot say a leopard has changed its skin like a chameleon, which has never been heard. Ayub Tabe did his best, and when he was captured, he knows very well that his wings have been stripped off because he's in the hands of his enemies. And trying to come out, he tried to sell Ambazonia and created proxies that up to today, the consequences of his deeds are being suffered by so many Ambazonians. Whereas if he behaved like an Ambazonian, reasonable and preferred, like Gamaliel would say, it's better for one person to die than the whole nation to perish. If he had loved the people of Ambazonia, he would have preferred to die and let Ambazonia survive than to try to survive and, of course, keep himself in prison, and the Ambazonians are dying outside here. What a terrible thing that humans of these days can do. Point number 11, government officers and civil servants at the service of the people, not lording it over them in the midst of a disciplined service where all negligence or abuse of office was severely punished, where the use of service cars was well regulated and respected, and state funds was accounted for. Oh my God, that is the era I was born. And I saw a little bit of this era until these monsters came into Ambazonia and took Ambazonians captive, converted a number of them, and they forget to know that the end result is not enjoyment. It's misery and shame. They die like Judas Iscariot, who sold Jesus and could not spend the money. And so many of our fighters that stood up to defend the homeland, to get back to this moral standards, they have died. Why have they died? And who has killed them? La Republique and some of the Ambazonians who have actually right now metamorphosed into being these agents of La République du Cameroon. And so we find ourselves in that dilemma where you go trying to grab what is not yours, be rest assured you will not live to enjoy it. Oh, be rest assured, it has happened and it is happening and it will happen. So if you have ears to hear, I plead with you to stop whatever you are doing and get back to your conscience. And I told you, this can only happen when you hand over your life to one person that can change the lives of individuals and turn them around. He is called Jesus. The Muslims are testifying how he appeared to them. You can testify if you hand over to him. He will change your life from that wicked heart that you have. Not playing religion, carrying Bible and trying to read Bible. No, that's not it. You consciously tell him to take over your life, and when you do that, he definitely comes in and the difference is clear. And the difference is clear to everybody. All right, let's go. Free, independent, objective, legislative press, committed to report and hold the state accountable. All this was what was happening in the government of Southern Cameroons. And I foresee and I look the character and the miniature of heaven in those days of Southern Cameroons, where conscience was the policeman of every individual. And those who gave their lives to Christ, they were extra, because man is generally stained by sin. And no matter how much you struggle, you still rub yourself in the mud of sin in this world. But when Jesus comes in, the difference is clear. The Southern Cameroon government, state, and government was not paradise, but it was a perfectly satisfactory, rapidly progressing state with a huge potential to emerge into a fully developed democratic model state in Africa. That's what we were. President Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana heard about what was going on in southern Cameroons and visited it for himself in 1959, landing at the Tico International Airport and going later to Bamenda. He visited the fully refurbished Prime Minister's Lodge, prepared to receive the Queen of England on an aborted official visit, as well as observed the industrialization of the country of Ambazonia. These were all things that were in the pipeline for the nation of Ambazonia. That's what the interim government is looking forward to do. We know that we can never ever get back to be what we were before, but at least a shadow of what we were, is what this interim government is intending to do. The international community, based on this prosperity, placed Cameroon, Ghana, and South Korea at the same state of development and potential for emergence in the 1960s. Can you imagine? United Nations knew this, and Britain was envious. And so decided to hand us over, because they knew that with the intellectualism of the Southern Cameroonians, we're going to be very instrumental in the growth. But today, the knowledge has been corrupted by evil. Like I told you, erosion. Once you tie yourself to a thief, the Bible says, you become a thief. And so France, after Britain had done its worst, handing our instruments of authority to the French through La République du Cameroun, completely bastardized us. Yes. Did you know that the flag of La République du Cameroun from the beginning never had a star in the flag? And I told you to examine this year, 20th May, which they call National Day, because La République is ashamed to celebrate their independence, which was on the 1st of January 1960. Now, today, they remove, when we said we're joining, they added 2 stars. Later on, remove the stars, the 2 stars, and put 1 star, calling it united. And today, they have completely gone back to no star. Go and examine it. That's to tell you they have surrendered. They are just fighting now because there are a lot of Ambazonians, a lot of businessmen in La République, and a lot of international community that is profiting, we call them profiteers, to the war that is going on in Ambazonia. And that's why many of them don't want it to finish. But when they get the money and kill the other people, what do they do with the money? You drink, sleep with women, and at the end of the day, what happened? You die. Oh yes, if your time doesn't come now, your time will come, but you will die. But remember, if there was not a creator that will require the blood of the people that are dying because of your wickedness, then I would have said all is lost. But I have this confidence that all is not lost. This extremely prosperous state soon became West Cameroon, federated state, made jealousy, enemies from many in East Cameroon who wanted their share of the cake. So we became a point of jealousy. But the next time I'm coming on our history, I'm going to share with you, begin with the second coup d'etat that plotted to stop the rise of West Cameroon and destroy what we call the Federation. I'm going to be coming with you with that in our next episode. But for today, I want you to just sit back and give a thought to yourself. After hearing all this, what will you say? Because Ambazonia is emerging, and whether you like it or not, it is emerging to be a nation that God helping, bringing in godly leadership, as we now have, we shall advance, we shall rise, but not by our power, not by our strength, but by God's strength and by God helping us. That is why Ambazonia has totally and completely dedicated to God, of whom some people, because of lack of knowledge, they are insulting. I've heard a lot of insult. People saying, well, you Ambazonians, you are praying to the God of Israel. That's Israel bombing and so on. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to answer such people because they do not understand even themselves. And when you don't understand yourself, and you do not know that you do not understand yourself, then you are a big fool. And the best answer to a fool is to keep quiet. But if you are really conscious and sincere and want to know what is going on, seek for knowledge. You will get it. Ask questions, because nobody is an island. Ask questions and you will be answered to the point that your spirit and your soul will give praise to God. Well, until next time on this very platform, I wish you God's blessings throughout this week. God bless you and see you next time.
And you know my name. I give you glory. Abba Father, you know me. You know my name. Abba Father, you know me. You know my name. Abba Father, you know me. You know my name. You know my name, oh Daddy. You know my name. I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me. Yeah. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yeah, yeah. Jesus, your love, now oh. My master, your kindness, now wonder oh. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. Jesus, you say I be a picking, no. Jesus, you